Hi everyone, my name is Oge-O and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be part one of a two-part series that I really wanted to do. I've been seeing all of this discussion and rhetoric about synthetic braiding hair and if it's gonna cause cancer and it's full of lead and all these poisonous materials and like, should we throw away our synthetic braiding hair? What's going on? Are they poisoning Black women? And I just wanted to get on here and give my thoughts. And I'm not a chemist. I don't have a chemistry degree. Yes, I did take chemistry, but that was way back in undergrad. So I'm not gonna go super into like the nitty gritty of really even the studies. It's gonna be more just my personal experience and my thoughts. So just to give a quick brief history of my relationship with synthetic hair and braids. When I was younger, I remember I would always be in some sort of braided style. Sometimes it would be with just my own hair, just cornrows, like straight back cornrows, but a lot of times it was box braids with synthetic hair. And since I was like really little, I would get that done. And when I got a little bit older, I think 8 or 9, that's when I got my first relaxer. And then I was basically going between getting my hair relaxed and wearing it straight, and then also getting braids. And so I have been getting braids since I was basically a baby. And now when I started in college, that's when I started doing my own braids. And that's what I've been doing now. Most of the times I think the last time I got my hair braided by somebody else was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And so I do my own braids. Usually it's box braids, and sometimes I'll do twists as well. I've tried knotless braids before, but it just takes so long. I just don't find it worth it. So usually it's box braids. And so I have been using synthetic hair and doing braided styles for a really long time now. And definitely my relationship with synthetic hair has changed. I think definitely these past few years, even before this paper came out, I was of this notion that I just was getting this feeling I don't want to use synthetic hair or hair that's not mine anymore. And I think for me, it was for a lot of different reasons. Before this paper came out, I always kind of knew that braiding hair wasn't the best for you. You know, like there's no way that it could be. Like the way it smells, it would have this chemically smell. Like, so I just knew this wasn't all natural, organic. I was never, I guess, under the illusion that it was good for you. And I think for me, it boils down to a few things. One, that it's very irritating to my skin. Like even now, I am thinking about just like pulling it back up because where it's touching my bare skin, I just am getting super itchy. I've developed rashes from synthetic hair before. And so I do want to get to a point where I'm no longer using synthetic hair and I'm doing braided and twist styles on my own hair. And so with the report, when I saw that it came out, and it was just very interesting because I was fascinated by the fact that it was so sensationalized. You know, like I was seeing all of these different news reports and articles saying synthetic hair is killing you and it's so terrible, Black women beware, da 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 da. And I just thought that was so interesting because we've been using synthetic hair for decades. And so I don't know, this was just interesting that it came out. And I looked at the paper, and again, I'm not a chemist. So when they were reporting these levels, part of me was like, I mean, is that bad? Like, what do those levels actually mean? And so that's why I linked some of the videos for a few different chemists, because long story short, basically, it's not really anything new that we didn't already know. And the results are a little bit iffy, mainly because they use the, I guess, appropriate levels for somebody who's consuming something with these different chemicals. I think the big ones I remember is lead, acetone, and benzene. And so we're not eating braiding hair or synthetic hair. And they weren't using appropriate levels for, appropriate levels for dermal exposure. So like if you put something on your skin, appropriate levels, which I think is very important because like we toss out these chemicals, but then you think about it, acetone, we use that in nail polish remover. So if you're getting your nails done multiple times a month, you're exposing yourself to acetone all the time, you're inhaling those fumes. So, you know, and benzene, that's in benzoyl peroxide, which multiple papers have come out saying that the benzoyl peroxide is not does not increase your risk for cancer using that for like the acne washes, or lead, which lead is a naturally occurring element. And so it's in the ground, it's in our food because our food is grown from the soil. And so I think when you hear those terms just out of context, it sounds scary, but then when you think about all the different ways that these elements are used, you start thinking, oh, you know, is it really that bad? Especially when a big thing is not just what the chemical is, but exposure. So exposure is a big thing. So there's a big difference between putting hair or synthetic hair on near your scalp that contains lead versus ingesting huge amounts of lead. That's like very different in terms of just problems it would cause. And our body's really good at getting rid of toxins. It's just when we overwhelm our body's natural detoxification methods, that's when we have problems, because our body can't keep up with getting rid of everything that we're ingesting. And so I think that's a very important nuanced fact. And so once I realized that, I was just like, oh, you know, I don't think this is going to change anything that I do regarding synthetic hair. And so for me, it's not going to change anything that I do, especially since my goal is to eventually move away from using synthetic hair as much. And I've also thought about using more natural options, especially because for me, synthetic hair can be so irritating. And I've tried the hypoallergenic brands. I have a hypoallergenic brand in my head right now, and I feel so itchy. And I'm just like, you know, part of me sometimes thinks younger me, if I was also this super itchy, and it's just because I knew that I couldn't take the braids out because my parents paid for it, so I just dealt with it. And now that I'm older and know, oh, you don't have to live like this, I'm like, wow, okay, this is like super itchy. So I have been looking into just natural fibers for synthetic hair. Yeah, for synthetic hair. And so I've done cotton, I've done yarn braiding before, and I did really like it. I think the only thing for me is I don't think I would feel comfortable washing my hair while I had yarn in it. And I have heard of one company, Rebundle, which I'd be interested to try. I can't remember why I didn't buy their hair last time when I was buying hair. I think it's because they didn't have the length or the color that I wanted. I can't remember, but I've heard good things about them. So I definitely see in the future more and more companies coming out that are using natural fibers, and I honestly will probably go that way for if I want to do a braided or twist style for vacation. My goal is to move towards those natural fibers, again, mainly for me because of the irritation I get from synthetic hair. And also I guess like the sustainability would be really cool too, knowing that this hair, once I'm done with it, it will not just end up in a landfill, but it can be used to, I don't know, like as fertilizer, or was made from something that was going to be trash and then got repurposed. I think that's pretty cool too. So I think that's where I would be going with synthetic hair. This was a bit of a ramble, but I think big takeaways, at least for me, is that in my opinion, this article didn't change how I view synthetic hair. I think that it's very important to always just really take time to read what's being put out there, because we live in this era of sensationalization, and so that's what sells. And so yeah, putting a title saying synthetic hair is killing Black women is gonna get clicks. But then you take a deep dive and you realize, oh wait, actually this isn't as bad as the headlines are making it seem. And don't get me wrong, I was also kind of drawn in when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, like, do I need to throw away all my synthetic hair? But then I was like, you know what, let me actually read the article that they are referencing, and let me read up more on what these findings are actually showing. Let me go to people who have a chemistry degree and can kind of break this down for me. But yeah, let me know in the comments, are you gonna continue using synthetic braiding hair? Did the report change what you thought at all? What are your guys' thoughts? But until next time, oh, and then make sure that you look out for part 2. Part 2, I'm gonna be talking about chemical relaxers and my experience with chemical relaxers. But yeah, be on the lookout for that part 2 as well. Okay, bye.